Hey guys, Chelsea from Attention to Details here, and today we have an Acura MDX in for a full detail. And from the looks of it, my customers just got back from the beach and they must have had a blast. They must have been there for a long time because they brought back a lot of the sand with them. Let's take a quick look at what we've got going on in the back. You can see there was a mat, so majority of it is in the outer perimeter. But let's go take a look at the inside. You can see we've got a lot of sand as well as some debris that we need to go ahead and remedy. And on the carpets, we've definitely got a full day work ahead of us. So hopefully that wasn't too shaky for you, but I am the type of detailer that I work out of my home, but I do not have a garage to store a compressor. So for me, I do not have a Tornador. I do not have any sort of high-tech machinery to be able to remove sand. We got to use it the old-fashioned way. So my son has already cautioned off. He's going to be working on the outside mats for me, and I'm going to start working on the interior, but I want to show you how I remove sand manually without any sort of fancy tools. You can use a polisher and kind of let the vibrations bring it up to the surface, so we might try that method out a couple areas where it's a little bit thicker, but for the most part we're going to be doing this the old-fashioned way. So this is going to be a long one, not video hopefully, but day. So let's get into it. Alright, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and use our bigger attachment, I don't know what that is, to kind of suck up all of the large debris, and then we'll go ahead and break out our tools. So let's get this cleaned up. Alright, so we've gone ahead, we vacuumed up a majority of the loose debris. We're not necessarily looking for perfection. So I have here in front of me, and I don't know if you can see, these are just kind of a variety of different brushes that I will use at times. This is really great, the Mother's detailing brush, for getting in along tight spaces, along corners, things like that, where I don't necessarily want to have a bulky, obviously this can't fit as well. So these are great for detail brushes. If you're wanting to do this manually, you don't have a drill brush or anything like that, the Tough Shine tire brush, these are really great for getting in there and just kind of exfoliating and lifting the fibers. But you can just see when you do this, obviously you're going to get hair, you're going to get other stuff stuck into it. So that's why I always recommend do a very quick vacuum first to kind of pick up any loose debris. I like this one with the handle because if I were to use something like this, and I'm going in along these tight spaces, that's where you're going to end up getting cut. These ones are really great as well, but they can be, again, bulky with the head. So the Tough Shine brush, it does a really good job. This one as well. This is just a tire brush from Detailed Image. But go ahead, you want to lift the fibers on the carpet. And we're going to go ahead and show you what that process looks like if we use a drill brush. I'm using the yellow head. That's a little bit more aggressive for carpets, but let's go ahead and see what kind of sand we can lift using this method. Alright, so hopefully I didn't change the angle too much, but you can see just using our manual brushes and also the drill brush attachment on a corded drill, we've been able to remove 95% of the sand. Now I'm not going to say it's 100%. This is forgiving carpet. It's lighter. If this was dark, obviously you're going to have, a more accurate view of how much sand is there. But anytime you're doing sand removal, I do recommend that you tell the customer that you're going to have to do a shampoo, because that is probably the more effective way to get a majority of the sand out. You could spend all day trying to get every grain of sand out. You need to have realistic expectations. When you've gone to the beach, you're going to bring some home with you and it's going to stay with you probably forever. I'm just kidding, but you need to have realistic expectations. Sand is very difficult to remove. You need to try to say, to your customer, even if you're a customer watching, you're using these methods, you can probably get 90%, 95% of the sand out, but there's always going to be, those, couple bits of sand that are going to be left behind, and that's livable, that's doable. But shampooing is definitely going to help remove any of the visual sand, and even some of the ones that are deeper in the fibers. So I do recommend that you always, whenever you're doing sand removal, always follow up with a shampoo. It doesn't have to be a deep saturation. What I would do is, even if you don't have an extractor, you can take a hose, just lightly mist it with water, spray your solution, take your wet dry vac, go ahead and vacuum it up, and then take a microfiber and then mop up after yourself, let that kind of air dry, and then follow up vacuum, because when you shampoo, you're going to be lifting soils to the surface. If you don't have an extractor, some of that dirt is going to be wicked to the surface, so then just follow up with another vacuum, and that should get any remaining sand and dirt. If you do have a extractor, like me, I have the Aqua Pro Vac, that should remove, I would say, the remaining percentage of sand that is in your carpet. And if you do need to do a follow-up vacuum, whatever detergent you use, I do recommend that you use something that is specifically for carpets. A lot of guys will end up using like an all-purpose cleaner, or even something like Resolve if you're a customer that's watching and you're kind of wanting to know how to remove sand. Some things like that, you're not necessarily being able to remove a lot of the residue, and what will happen is, when you use something that is strong like that, one, it's not going to rinse free. It may not have all the cleaning properties that you're looking for, and if that residue isn't rinsed out, it's going to become like a glue for any future soiling. So I do recommend that you get a carpet specific cleaner. I recommend Bonnet Pro Rocket Revive It. It is a citrus hydrogen peroxide based cleaner. It's an encapsulation solution that will basically encapsulate the dirt, and then you can vacuum it out, or you can extract it out with cold water alone. You don't need hot water, you don't need steam, anything like that. So if you were to use Bonnet Pro Rocket Revive It and your drill brush, spray it down, agitate, and then go ahead and rinse free with your cold water extraction, you're going to get a majority of the stains out. Okay, so this is after using the brushes and vacuuming, and you can see that we were able to get a majority of the soiling out. It's actually amazing when you just do kind of a dry brush vacuuming how much dirt you can lift to the surface. So now the next step after this is we are going to go ahead and wipe down all of our doors, the dash, the vinyl, even the backs of the chairs, because you can see we've got a good fair amount of soiling. We're going to do our windows, and then we're going to go ahead and do our shampooing, and then follow that up with our leather cleaning. I like to do the leather last in case you get overspray from the shampooing. So we're going to go ahead and get all of the plastics and windows and door jambs and all of that cleaned, and then we're going to go ahead and bring you on in for a little bit of the shampooing, just so you can see the amount of debris that is being sucked up, and then we will show you the finished result. Let's see what we've got in here. Look at all that sand. Alright folks, here is our finished product for this detail and for sand removal. You can see we got up as much of the sand as possible. Our dash, cluster, everything is cleaned and dialed in. And we've also got our doors and door jambs cleaned and dressed. Our back seat, this was where a majority of the sand and staining were. And I would say for a day's work, we have a great end result. We got the backs of the seats nice and clean. Tires and wheels on point. We've got our coverall on them, so they are looking fantastic. And that will call it a day, folks. Alright, so we got our outside done, we got the interior to match, and I just want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about sand removal, about interiors, please feel free to comment down below. I would say interiors are kind of my specialty, so if you guys have any particular questions about interiors, please feel free to drop me a line and I will try to help you as much as possible. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day.